Is Destiny Areola. I am currently in your Blue Planet course, 3200, that is online, and I'm going to be presenting to you today. My presentation today is going to be on oil spills and their harm to the Earth's environment, particularly the 1989 Exxon Valdez oil spill. So, the importance, why should you care? Oil spills can be extremely fatal to our environment and can greatly damage marine life, both marine life and life on land. There are two different types of spills, so deliberate and accidental oil spills. Deliberate spills would be more so when humans deposit or dispose of oil into our oceans, just because most of the time they don't really have anywhere else to place the oil, and accidental oil spills like the oil spill that we're going to be talking about today. How does it harm our environment exactly? Well, oil spills can kill plants and animals in our oceans. It can also disturb salinity and pH levels in our oceans, causing an unstable, uninhabitable environment. It affects the salinity with the carbon pump, and with more carbon in our water, it causes more acid and the pH levels, of course. Not only does oil pollute ocean water, it pollutes our air and atmosphere, disrupting natural cycles like photosynthesis and, again, the Earth's biological carbon pump. So the 1989 Exxon oil spill took place in Prince William Sound, Alaska. It was an accidental oil spill that covered about 1,300 miles of the Alaskan coastline and killed hundreds of thousands of seabirds, otters, seals, and whales, as well as lots of marine plants. The crash was actually due to the fact that the captain of the ship says that he had been drinking, and he had charged or left one of the third crew party members in charge of steering the ship, and through Prince William Sound, which is a very hazardous navigation route for ships, he actually ended up crashing into Bligh Reef. About 10.8 million gallons of oil was spilled into the ocean. And again, this oil spill was catastrophic to life in the region, harming more animals than human life. Here we can see an actual picture of the oil spill, and we can just see the magnitude of it. And here highlighted in the red is the 1,300 miles of coastline that was affected by the oil spill and how fastly and rigorously it moved out into the ocean. So continued, we do know that the Exxon Valdez was following a shipping lane that was full of breaking icebergs, and trying to steer away from a glacier, it hit Bligh Reef. These breakages of these glaciers pose the great question of the rapid change in climate and the catastrophe of Exxon Valdez, proving that humans continually do harm the environment. The breakage of these icebergs, as we know, come from the Earth warming up and just different currents and the heat not being distributed equally in the regions of the Earth, so more heat being captured in the north and both polar regions of the world are causing for rapid change and rapid breakage of these icebergs. So the dirty blizzard hypothesis was actually hypothesized after the Deepwater Horizon oil spill in 2010 that took place in the Gulf of Mexico, and correlates with the ocean's biological carbon pump. We can assume that this is the same thing that happened during the Exxon Valdez event. The hypothesis suggests that the oil acted as a catalyst for plankton and other surface materials to clump together and fall to the sea floor in a massive sedimentation event, what they have termed as a dirty blizzard. So the effect of this oil on the water in turn really affects the carbon and biological pump, and this is a problem because with an increased rate of plankton falling onto the ocean floor at a rapid speed, this results in a massive carbon deposits. As we know, excess carbon in the ocean makes water more acidic, endangering ocean life. And knowing that the water in this region is actually a lot more colder, it already holds more carbon. So now with the oil influencing the carbon pump, it in a result will make the water a lot more acidic. And with also the plankton, we do know that plankton is the bottom of the food chain. It's essential to all life in the ocean. And if the plankton is not receiving the proper amount or way to reproduce, This is very catastrophic for life in the ocean. So oil and its effect on photosynthesis process in our ocean. So we do know that oil generally has a very high viscosity. Its inability to dissolve in water caused it to float due to a lower density. The sensation of floating restricts direct sunlight through the ocean water, reducing water quality and restricting photosynthesis. The restriction of this essential phenomena to life kills plants and animals and also disturbs salinity and pH levels. So again, phytoplankton is very essential to ocean life, and with this blockage of sunlight, it just creates a very vast imbalance in not only ocean life, ocean salinity, and we do know that ocean life also keeps a balance in the ocean salinity as well. So in conclusion, where are we today? Overall, we know that oil spills are detrimental to the Earth's environment and life in general, affecting food chains and environments for life in ocean and on land. We know that the Earth is not habitable without the ocean. 93% of the Earth's carbon is produced in the ocean. So we do know that we need the ocean in order to maintain ourselves on this planet. And as a result of the Exxon Valdez catastrophe, the Oil Pollution Act was actually enacted in 1990 by the Bush administration. The act enacts that streamlined, or it supports actually, a streamlined and strengthened environmental protection agency's ability to prevent and respond to catastrophic oil spills. So in conclusion, we are still consuming these fossil fuels at rapid paces. In theory, we are more prepared for an oil spill and its prevention. We don't necessarily have the question of reducing our own consumption of fossil fuels. So there seems to be a little bit more control over these oil spills, but our production of fossil fuels doesn't, or our consumption of fossil fuels is not necessarily in question. All right, that is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.